Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. So I figured I would sit down today and do a little bit of a haul, kind of update makeup collection sort of video. It's definitely not like a full collection. I'm not going to show you everything I have, but these are the things that I've picked up in the last, I would say, month that have been at the forefront of my desk, things I've been using all the time, and I figured I would share them with you. These are things that I know I haven't mentioned in other videos, so I'm not repeating myself, but if there's something that I have been using that I didn't mention, I'll mention it in the next video. I'll get to it. But anyway, let's just jump in because I don't want this video to be a million minutes long like most of my videos are. I'm going to start with the winner. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I have been using this non-stop since I purchased it. Even if I'm not wearing any makeup, I usually go in with Golden Ochre and a little bit of Raw Sienna, throw on some mascara, and that's it. But I literally cannot get ready without this palette anymore. I use it every single day, interchangeably with the Carli Bybel palette, which I think I mentioned in a previous video, but if not, it's great too. But I just really feel like this palette is everything. It's got literally everything I need, so I'm not going to use another palette. I have retired my Morphe 350M palette, which is sad, but like, sorry, you know what I'm saying? I understand the hype 150% now. So glad this is in my collection. Next up we have the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation, and this is in the shade Fair Neutral. I'm just so impressed with the formula of this foundation. It is a stick foundation. I'm not going to pop it all the way up because I don't want it to break off, but I really like the neutrality of this color for someone with my type of undertone. But that being said, they have an enormous shade range, so you are bound to be able to find a shade that works for you. I absolutely love the formula. I love the satin finish. I love how it lasts. I love that you can pair it with almost any primer and any setting powder, and it's going to look beautiful and not cakey. I think it's great, and I'm really, really glad I have it. It's also one of the only products that I enjoy using a brush with, which is great because I'll actually get use out of like the Morphe Y6 and things that I've purchased that I don't really use. So yeah, I love this little guy. Next up we have a primer. This is the Touch in Sol No Pore Blem primer. I can literally never say that right, so that was exciting. This is a smoothing and pore covering top secret for perfect makeup primer, which I totally that's a perfect way of describing it. It smooths out your pores, smooths out your face, gives you the most wonderful base for any foundation. Nothing slip slides on top of it, and I absolutely love it. I know it's kind of out of stock in a lot of locations right now. Definitely on Sephora.com it's out of stock, and in a lot of stores it's not there, but if you can get your hands on it, I would highly recommend checking it out because I know that this began at the Urban Outfitters store, which has some BH, has some Mario Badescu, but like it's not Sephora, it's not Ulta, it's not a super makeup store. So the fact that this kind of indie brand has made it into the forefront of Sephora, it's like right up there with Milk Makeup and the Farsali, is just really impressive, and I'm really happy to see something smaller getting big. And it's still only $18, which, I mean, it's not a drugstore price, but like pretty inexpensive for Sephora. So next up we have this bronzer, which is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer, and honestly, I love this color. I know I'm holding that so awkwardly, I'm so sorry, I'm trying not to flash you with this mirror. Anyway, the reason I like this bronzer so much is because it is so neutral. It is not orange, it is not ashy. I can, however, still use it to carve out a little bit of my cheekbones, but I love, 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 love the color. I love that it's completely matte and no shimmer, because I'm not a huge fan of glowy bronzers. If I want glow, I'm going to use highlight, which obviously I'm going to do, but they're different products for me. I would like them to be different products, and I really am just super glad that I finally picked this up. I've seen a lot of people use this for years because it's not a new product, but now it's new to me, so welcome to my collection, little Tarte man. Next up we have a blush. This is the Fiona Styles blush in the shade Valley. I am such a huge fan of not only this formula, but this color. It's such a unique kind of brown color. I mean, honestly, that's like the word I'm looking for. It's sort of taupey, sort of orangey, sort of browny, but like, it almost looks like a bronzer for like immensely fair skin, but for me it works beautifully as a blush, and if I don't want to use a bronzer, I can just use this, and it's just the perfect flush on my cheeks. It's everything I want and more, and I got it for $5 because Ulta is discontinuing Fiona Styles, so if it's still around, pick it up. It's great. There's also another color I think called Sweetwater, which is more of a coral pink, but that's not really my complexion friendly, so great. Next up, we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Taupe. The reason I'm talking about this is because the color is perfect for me. Obviously everybody knows the Brow Wiz. I don't need to exhaust this video talking about the Brow Wiz, but this is the color I have on my eyebrows right now. It's the perfect neutral shade that's like brown enough but doesn't have reddish undertones, because while I do have red hair, I don't want my eyebrows to match perfectly, specifically because I dye my hair like randomly all the time and I don't want to have to keep going out and buying new brow products. So long as it is taupey enough, I can usually use it with any hair color that I have. I love it. And last but not least, on the high-end side, we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, which is a perfect addition to any makeup collection. I find that this adds like a little bit of fluff to my eyebrows, just enough to make them look fuller, more healthy, more natural. So I'm a huge fan of this. I'm so glad I finally picked it up. I've been using an e.l.f. eyebrow mascara, which is fine, but it seemed to kind of crumble and turn white a little bit by the end of the day sometimes, and I didn't love that about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want crusty eyebrows, and this guy just does not at all give me that problem. It's great, it's high-end for a reason, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those just kind of staple products, and I really like it. So on the drugstore side, I'm going to start off with a applicator. This is the L'Oreal Blending Sponge. I know there's like 3 of them. There's a green one and a blue one, but this one's my favorite. It is squishy, 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 just like the Beauty Blender, but better because it's not $20. And I also find that the base is better for application of foundation because it's flatter. The Beauty Blender is a little rounder at the bottom and a little smaller, and you just kind of have to like work with it a little more. I find I have to do less blending with this, and squeezing in that tip is perfect for under eye concealer. So it's really a pretty dope product. I'm really glad that L'Oreal came out with it. Check it out if you can. They're not at all the drugstores anymore that I've seen, but I think I picked this up at Walmart and it was there, and cheaper probably because Walmart tends to be the cheapest out of the places to buy things like Maybelline and L'Oreal products. So next up we're going to talk about a powder. This is the Flower Beauty Translucent Powder in MM1. Miracle Matte Translucent Finishing Powder, that's the full name, and this is literally magic. Every single time I've used this powder, I have had a perfectly matte T-zone for the entire day. I have had 0 oil seepage in places where I always have oil seepage, and it is like I don't understand how it operates this well. I know that it won an Allure Beauty something or other, which, I mean, that's a good thing for a product, but like, you know, I don't always trust those things. Not everything works for every type of skin, but I just don't, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those products that just wows you and you don't understand how it does what it does, but you're not going to question it. The only thing I will say about this is every single time I've used it, my face has felt a little bit tight in the locations where I've put it. So under your eyes, kind of in the T-zone, your skin might feel a little tight, but I think that's because it's literally like doing this to oil, which I have no problem with. So next up, we're going to talk about a couple of concealers. Oh, I forgot a high-end product. I'm going to throw that in first. This is the Becca Aqua Luminous Concealer in the shade Porcelain. I am obsessed with this. I've used this almost every day since I got it, along with the Modern Renaissance. It is the perfect color, the perfect luminosity, the perfect hydration for underneath my eyes, and it doesn't crease, it doesn't crepe. It's just honestly a perfect concealer. I've heard a lot of other people talking about it on YouTube. Some of my friends have tried it. Not everybody loves it. So if you have oily areas underneath your eyes, this may not be for you. But for me, that area is very matte usually, and this adds a really nice luminosity that I wouldn't otherwise have. I do still set it because I don't want it to get weird, and I just don't feel like testing that on work days and stuff like that. Maybe I will on a weekend, see what happens if I don't set it, but even when you set it, the luminosity shines through, and I just really appreciate that about this concealer. So, love it. Oh, side note, there was a shade above this, I think it's called Fair, which was the initial shade that I got. It is a similar tone of color, if that makes sense. Like there's an even amount of like lightness to it, but it's a little more yellow. So if you have pinker undertones or neutral undertones, I would go with Porcelain instead of Fair. But if you have yellow or olive undertones, I would go with Fair. So the drugstore concealer is the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Total Coverage Concealer in the shade, I don't know. It's whatever this shade is. I think it's the lightest shade. I think it's like 100.5 or something like that. This is a little bit too light for me right now. Oh yeah, it is 100.5. I found it. This is a little light for me right now, but I'm going to save it until the winter time if I need a full coverage concealer that's a little bit on the lighter side, I'm definitely going to go for this, but the formula is fantastic. So color aside, I really like the way that this works underneath the eyes. It's similar to the Shape Tape, but way less expensive, and I think it's just even a little bit lighter than the Shape Tape that I have, so in the dead of winter in Syracuse when I'm like as white as this shirt, I can use this, and it'll be great. So next up we have a blush. This is the Essence Beauty Satin Touch Blush in the shade Satin Coral. I have honestly never been so impressed with a blush in my life. This is a $2.99 blush, but I would never have guessed that. I don't care that it's $2.99. It's not like it's good for $2.99. It's just good. I love the color. I love the formula. It's almost like wet when you touch it. It's just so soft, and when it applies to your cheeks, it's the perfect flush. It stays on all day. I have never had a problem with my blush literally disappearing by the end of the day, which honestly some other blushes, even high-end blushes, do that on my face, and I just love it. As far as I know, there's only 2 shades of this blush, which sucks. They should really come out with more because they're just that good. This is sold at Ulta. Check it out, please trust me. So next up we have the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Highlight Illuminator. That's not in the name, that's just a different language for highlight. I'm sorry, excuse me. And this is in the shade Who's That Pearl. And I really like this. It's literally just like a little cushion, like a cushion foundation. You pop it open like so, and you can use this little guy if you want to, which is like a little spongy thing. I actually did use the other day and it worked perfectly fine. I didn't feel that it was cheap or bad. And what I do with this is I just pop it on my cheekbones, and it is a liquid highlighter, but it's in a cushion form. This is really good. I mean, it's not as blinding as like a Becca liquid highlighter or the CoverFX custom enhancer drops in Moonlight or any of those colors, but it's good. And I think for like $4 or $5, a liquid highlighter in a cushion form that's so travel friendly, it's great. I just really like it, and I'm really glad I finally tried it out. So I have 3 more products, the first of which is the Catrice Prime and Fine Professional Contouring Palette in the shade Ashy Radiance. I have honestly not used this highlight shade because I don't need to. I have a million other highlighters, but this contour is the reason that I'm talking about it. It is so good, okay? I am not someone who contours a lot. You guys know that about me, but this is so easy for me to work with. It's the perfect shade for my skin tone because it's called Ashy Radiance, but it's not really that ashy. It's really good for right underneath my cheekbones. I don't really contour anywhere else. I don't contour my nose or anything, but honestly, I'm sure it would work fine for that area too. I just find it to be the perfect color, the perfect consistency, blendable, and doesn't disappear. So I love it, and I'm sure I'll try out the highlight, let you guys know later. Next up we have, well, okay, so these are like the 2 best products probably in here aside from the Modern Renaissance palette, so I mean it doesn't really matter which order I talk about them in, but I'll save the highlighter for last. So we have the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Transforming Powder in the shade, I don't know, what is the shade? Oh, Classic Ivory. So this is just a powder compact like this. It comes with a mirror and a little spongy thing. I haven't used the sponge, but I'm sure it would be fine. I am actually obsessed with this powder. The way that it sets your makeup, but also adds just a little bit of coverage, specifically because I like to use very light coverage foundations for some reason. It's gorgeous, and it lasts all day. It doesn't cake up, it doesn't come off, it is transfer proof, it is beautiful, and I feel like since I've been using it, my skin has just looked better on a daily basis, which is a claim that this has, so yeah, it actually does what it says it's going to do. My skin is better when I'm using this and even when I'm not. So I really like this, and they have a really nice shade range too, so check this one out. The only thing I will say about this actually is I'm not a huge fan of the packaging. I just feel like it's a little, like, I don't want to say cheap, it just looks like kid makeup, like the color scheme with the white and the blue, and like, I don't know, it doesn't like scream at me like something like this does that's very sleek, you know what I mean? But I mean, if that's my only complaint, that's not a real complaint. It's irrelevant to how well the product performs, so just saying. And last but not least, we have another product from Maybelline. This is the Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter in the shade Molten Gold. At the moment, this is the only shade that they have, but oh my god, this is one of the best things I've come across in makeup ever. This is like equivalent of the Modern Renaissance, but for highlighter, especially from the freaking drugstore. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm swatching this for you. I haven't swatched anything else in this video, I'm sorry, but like, do you see that shine? I honestly, I can't deal with it. I use this almost every single day, and up until then I've been using the Wet n Wild, the Mega Glow highlighters, which I have 2 of, and I love. I know they just came out with new ones of those, and I'm actually super interested in finding them, but this is just everything I've ever wanted in a highlighter and more than I even thought I wanted in a highlighter. And, you know, luckily for me, this color actually looks good because I am relatively fair-skinned. A lot of people with my kind of skin tone said that this didn't work for them, but I guess something about my undertones with this golden color, it does work, and just God bless, because this has kind of more of like an orangey red gold undertone rather than a silvery kind of cool gold undertone, if that makes sense. And I just find this to be the most flattering highlighter. It does not accentuate texture. It stays on exactly where you put it, and I've even actually used it on the eyes, and it works really well as an eyeshadow too. So I am overwhelmingly impressed with this. I really, really hope they come out with more colors, because for not only fair skin, but for deeper toned skin, I think people might be interested in some array, some variety. But with that being said, I am really impressed with everything that I have just spoken to you guys about. So this was a haul, sort of a little mini review video on everything. I'm really, really happy with all this stuff. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Next video, maybe I'll post a tutorial or something. Let me know in the comments if you have anything you'd be interested in seeing. And I hope you guys have a really great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.